Welcome to the Performing Arts Awards ceremony. I'm Julia Ohm, and joining me today are all the members of our department who will be presenting our annual department awards. And while this is not our usual format for gathering, we honor you and our recipients and continue via Zoom to award excellence in the performing arts. As we all struggle in this confined situation to commune with each other and to find new patterns and ways of accepting this necessary isolation, we hope this is a bright spot in your day, in your year, and we look forward to a future time when we are together with each other once again in the chapel and on campus. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Rebecca Rice and Shel Salvucci to present the Dance Awards.
Hi. I just wanted to talk just briefly about the dance program this year. We had a stellar year and was moving ahead in large numbers of dance students, performers, and choreographers as we worked together to build our spring concert. Unfortunately, that was not meant to happen, but we do hope to have as many of the seniors back in the fall as alumni guests to participate in our fall dance concert. We also hope that many of you here now at Cushing will join our vibrant community of academic dance classes during the day and also after school. We have 3 awards to present in the dance program this spring. The first is a dance award for contribution and effort. It goes to a student who, through dedication, commitment, choreographic work, and technical discipline, has made the greatest all-around contribution and effort to the dance here at Cushing. This particular student who is getting the award this year is one who rocketed onto the dance scene with confidence, beauty, and discipline. Arriving at the school with already much technique under her belt, she never once hesitated to share her gifts, including choreography and teaching, with others. Contributing her mature ways by being a student leader in the dance program has surely not been overlooked. She is a special lady, full of promise. She is a lover of all things dance. We are lucky to have her here with us at Cushing for 2 more years. Today, the Performing Arts Dance Award for Contribution and Effort goes to Chloe Hatchie. Now to give the Dance Award for Growth and Improvement is Shel Salvucci, Cushing's dedicated and talented musical theater choreographer.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's my pleasure today to present the Performing Arts Department Award for Dance, Growth and Improvement. The award for 2019-2020 academic school year goes to a student who has worked tirelessly in advanced dance to improve her skills, not only in technique and performance, but as well in artistic expression. Her dancing has become organic and substantive. She has worked hard to build her movement quality with not only power, but emotion. She is developing into a strong, noble dancer. Over the past 2 years in advanced dance, her technical development has been quite astounding, and we all look forward to her further work and growth in the coming years while a dancer and performer at Cushing. The Dance, Growth and Improvement Award for 2020 goes to Jane Harmon. And now back to Ms. Rice.
Last but not least, we have our final dance award. The Dance Award for Excellence goes to a student who, through commitment, artistic and technical discipline, has portrayed the highest in excellence in her dance work at Cushing. This year, there were 2 students who are deserving of this award. The first awardee is a new student at Cushing who came to us with a wide breadth of knowledge in the world of dance, from being a strong technician to a lover of world dance. She continues to strive in excellence in all that she participates in here at Cushing. From her stellar performances on stage to her devoted and caring attitude in the classroom. A gifted and curious-minded student, she excels passion and intelligence in all that she does. The first award goes to Anna Zueba. The second award goes to a senior who has maintained her passion and integrity in dance throughout all the years she has been at Cushing. In the classroom, she has performed with rigor and intelligence, growing to become an excellent technician in all areas of the dance. On stage, her inner strength expresses itself through the myriad of dance performances she was in over the years, which were many. Her dancing on stage was always built around precision and love of the craft. Personally, she has become a dear friend, and I will miss working with her in the dance department as she moves onward and upward. May I honor Yukina Hiwaki. And now we're moving on to the director of the music program, the wonderful Mr. Desh Hindle.
Thank you, Ms. Rice. It's an honor to present the music awards this year, the first of which is the Theodore C. Pierce Prize, which is awarded to that student who has demonstrated faithfulness, dependability, and estimable service to the Cushing Academy Chorus. This year's recipient has been a stalwart presence in the chorus throughout the past 3 years, and as a founding member was instrumental in bringing Cushing a cappella to fruition. He is being honored this year for his service to both ensembles. He is almost always the first to arrive to every rehearsal, approaches our work with tenacious determination, and ensures that his section is on the mark. The performing arts faculty universally agree that integrity is at the heart of his words and actions. Congratulations to Ki Chang. Next, the Eva Fletcher Sweeney Prize is awarded to that student who has contributed the most to vocal music at Cushing Academy in the current year. This year's recipient has devoted 4 years to the soprano section of the chorus, is also an influential founding member of Cushing a cappella, has honed her craft in private lessons, contributed to solo recitals, and this winter took on the monumental role of the witch in our production of Into the Woods. Impeccably prepared, dedicated to improvement, and never one to complain, even when under stress, she models the work ethic and stamina of the ideal performing artist. Congratulations to Angela Tao. Next, the Madeline M. Gaylor Prize. Madeline M. Gaylor taught music at Cushing from 1927 to 1952. And this prize is given annually to the student showing the greatest improvement in keyboard music. This year, we honor a junior who began taking lessons at Cushing as a sophomore, and in that short time has improved to the point where he is contemplating entering competitions. According to his teacher, Dr. Tessitore, he is consistently poised, focused, and inquisitive in his approach to learning and determined to improve. If you have heard him perform, you know he brings energy and artistic maturity to each piece of music he takes on. Congratulations to Jonathan Wang. And next, the Lila Wellington Methvin 1904 Prize is awarded to that student who has made a significant contribution to the music program. This year, we honor a senior whose broad participation in music has time and again put her at the center of Cushing's performing arts productions. A soprano in the chorus, a fixture of our musical theater program, and the first to serve as president of Cushing a cappella, she has frequently brightened our stage with her unmistakable and beautiful voice. Mr. Quinones praises her for carrying out both the development and execution of her presidential role with grace, dignity, and responsibility. She has consistently been a leader during rehearsals and performances and has left an indelible mark on the ensemble for years to come. Congratulations to my advisee, Margaret Riley. And now I will turn the floor over to Mr. Sabatini, who will announce the second recipient of the Methvin Prize and the remaining music awards.
Thank you, Mr. Hindle. This year's Lila Wellington Methvin 1904 Prize in Music for a significant contribution is an individual who has been a 4-year music student at Cushing. Her portfolio includes a freshman year of chamber music and, lucky for me, 3 years in my jazz ensemble. Speaking specifically of my class, I observed this student flourishing consistently, engaging constantly and growing as a great musician and a fine human being in many ways, all while balancing the necessary work and navigating an academic life committed to and always with an eye on goals. Commitment, dedication, resilience, enthusiasm, fearlessness, playfulness, good humor, good spirit, and unassumingly and positive influence. All of these good general characteristics are what I know of this individual, as well as knowing that given the opportunity for a new musical experience, with or without challenge, this student will take it on. Such has been the case for the past 3 years, which has also included a trip off campus to Providence College to voluntarily participate in a Northeast Regional High School Concert Band Festival during an extremely busy junior year. In the Cushing Jazz Band, this student not only consistently demonstrated the kind of high level of musicianship worthy of these kinds of special events, but also was never afraid in our class to take on new challenges at most any time, in front of me or in front of classmates. Unencumbered by fear of judgment or anything else, even at the earliest stages of the process, which are typically quite messy and often riddled with mistakes. In my experience, I have seen most students of performances, and many pros, quite honestly, feel vulnerable and timid in these kinds of situations. This student, on the other hand, just jumps right in with curiosity and enthusiasm, stepping through the process in a very genuine and sincerely honest way, until what was once possibly a mess at first, eventually, through classwork, in front of all to see, transforms into something beautiful. And the process over time is witnessed by all. The power of this kind of confident work in front of her peers, regardless of how polished it may have been or not have been in the beginning, is transformative, especially for younger students, and the influence is undeniable. Congratulations to Jenna Viglione. The next award is for significant contribution. It's the Jeanette Whiting Flagg 1932 Prize. Today's recipient is another graduating senior who enrolled into my jazz ensemble class 3 years ago. This student brought to the class some previously and well-rooted musical experience, but not necessarily the kind that would transform easily into a large ensemble performance situation such as this. Nor would this student necessarily have the kind of experiences to fully understand the skill set, the role, or the responsibilities that would be necessary for successfully fulfilling what would soon become the student's ultimate and most influential purpose in the band. At the very beginning, the student had very few words to say, yet enough skills to get started. By the end, all I can say is that for those who rehearsed and performed and listened to this student play, all felt the influence of this student's work, whether you realized it or not. For when you heard the music, you knew it just felt great. This student is deeply profound, has a deeply profound love of music with a strong dedication to its practice. This student's greatest strengths as a musician and an artist in the most overall sense is always to be listening from the very start, deeply in a way that taps into the essence of what is really happening. Over time, I have observed this skill continuing to grow to a point of solid awareness of not only the most important details of a piece of music, but also of the overarching compositional form, either with or without written music as a reference. This kind of listening is a skill only developed by the best improvisers who are spontaneously imagining compositional form while simultaneously listening to their own inner creative voice for all the details of what to do and how to be most effective. To which the student's first response musically and most often is often the quintessentially the best thing to do, with only minor refinements needed afterwards. Finally, this student is strong on self-expression, resilience, and commitment, with an influence on the Cushing Jazz Band that has been undeniable. For in the end, what we feel when she sits at the drum set among an assortment of other percussion instruments and plays is a clearly expressed sense of what she is feeling. And that feeling is so uplifting and strong. When in the driver's seat, her classmates and musical colleagues are unified in following her most influential leadership. For in the end, when she is playing and being just who she is, we are all feeling better for it. Please join me in congratulating Praise Johnson. The third award is also Award for Improvement, the Jeanette Whiting Flag Award. Most of my students who receive this award have been enrolled in the jazz band for 3 or 4 years, giving them the opportunity to get settled in the first year and use the next few to gain momentum and growth. However, this award recipient, although now a senior, has only been in the jazz band for 2 years, one of which obviously includes this year in its unfortunate characteristics of having fewer, 8 to be exact, weeks less in band class. For any performing musician, and especially a student of music, this situation alone would seem to knock the wind out of anyone's sails, but not this student. This recipient approached me 2 years ago after already beginning private lessons, focusing on the journey on an introduction to jazz music theory and practice, which I should add that for most doesn't take long to quickly realize the vast nature of the art form and the implication of its lifelong practice in order to master. However, for this student, none of the learning roadblocks seemed to matter, but rather all decisions were being made on the feeling of pure inspiration. An inspiration fueled by love of music in general, a need to be self-expressive, and after having seen several examples of fellow students participating in the jazz band, performances on campus in previous years, impressed by the focus and dedication of this student, I made contact and subsequently suggested that enrollment in my jazz ensemble class in the fall was essential. I recall that in the following school year, this student's junior year at Cushing, during the add drop period within the first few weeks of class, having conversations of encouragement after each class, mostly revolving around statements of mine like, "Don't worry, you'll be fine, you'll catch on, just take this music to your private teacher. Believe me, you're right, you're in the right place, and no, I wouldn't suggest that you drop this class." For lack of any better description, and it was pure grit, fortitude, and that original transformation that allowed this student to hang on. Luckily for both of us, there began glimmers of hope. Connections were being started and made, first only a few, and then more and more and more. We continued throughout the first year having brief discussions after most every class, only now these discussions were more like critiques and deeper questions. From then, as it is today, the hunger for knowledge seems insatiable and also matched by practice and dedication. The growth has been truly fantastic and with no end in sight. I am truly confident that this young musician leaves Cushing as a well-rounded, well-equipped, resourceful, and inspired artist with a long life of great music making ahead. It's my great honor to present this award to Sho Yonikawa. My final award is the Harold Parker Whitney 1906 Prize for Musical Excellence. This year's recipient is a 4-year band student who has also simultaneously been studying privately at Cushing's weekly music lesson program. In all 4 years at Cushing, it was well known that in typical after study hours situations, this student could be found settled down in a practice room, working happily and diligently as though to not have a care in the world. Outside of Cushing Academy, this recipient has also participated in auditions for 3 years for the Massachusetts Central District's high school concert band and was subsequently honored and selected for the past 2 years among hundreds of participants who also auditioned to perform in this most highly esteemed concert. In addition, this recipient also participated in Providence College last year for their Northeast Regional Concert Band Festival on my recommendation, just for another opportunity to meet, mingle, and perform with other excellent musicians and peers. These are all quite high accomplishments for any high school music student, let alone a student who is also carrying a high academic workload and achieving excellence in all other classes as well. In my observations, this student's success at very least seems to be rooted in discipline and consistency, in organizational skills, in adhering to a schedule, in a steady, focused, and organized practice. As a music student, this individual is self-motivated, self-driven, challenge-oriented learner who is with so many other successful people in many other fields, has a process developed and refined by vast amounts of time, experience, and focus put to achieving a goal. This description, however, leaves out one of the most crucial ingredients of this equation of excellence, and that is passion and love for the art and for your own work. This recipient, although quiet by nature, is filled with music and musical ideas. Most recently, this student has made fantastic strides in a relatively new area of expertise, that of jazz improvisation. In doing this work, I have noticed the development of yet another strong and growing side of this student. That is to be more deeply self-expressive, utilizing a more spontaneous involvement in music making. This by nature can be extremely difficult for artists, so disciplined and organized as this one. However, from everything I have heard already from this student, and considering the amazing pace at which this student can grow and assimilate music, I have no doubt that the great strides already made will continue to flourish in abundance. And I'm so glad to congratulate and present this award of excellence to Ray Dwan. And now I present you with Sean Gebhardt to give the award for film.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm here to present the award for passion and growth in film and video. This year's recipient is talented in so many ways and has shown passion for a wide variety of disciplines. Over the last 3 years, the student has pursued their love of filmmaking and shown an adeptness and enjoyment that rises above what is asked. Even though they have an innate talent for telling stories through film, they have sought to improve their skills outside of class and through challenging inquiries. The student is an amazing talent, and as I said a moment ago, is passionate about a number of things. So I feel honored that she has studied film with me for the last 3 years. She is the most deserving of this honor, and I could not have asked for a better student. It is with great pride that I present the 2020 Performing Arts Award for Passion and Growth in Film and Video to Shania Davis. Congratulations, Shania. And now I'd like to turn it over to Julia.
Actually, I am going to defer to Mr. Q. Mr. Q.
Thank you, Ms. Ohm. It is my humble pleasure to join Ms. Julia Ohm in presenting this year's awards for exceptional achievement in theater. The Nancy Hallwright Boyer 1969 Drama Award is awarded to members of the senior class to recognize significant growth in acting through unparalleled dedication and determination to the craft. This year, it's my honor to bestow this award on 2 well-deserving recipients. The first of this year's recipients has been in numerous stage productions during her time at Cushing, beginning with David Ives' Words, Words, Words during her sophomore year. An experienced dancer prior to arriving at Cushing, she graced our stage with poise and prowess in each of the winter musicals over the last 3 years. The Who's Tommy, West Side Story, and this year's production of Into the Woods. Having worked with this student as her dance partner during the intricately and beautifully choreographed dream sequence ballet in West Side Story, I personally can attest to her professionalism and skill, not to mention her undying patience with less gifted dancers like myself. Years of focused commitment culminated in her starring role in Into the Woods. Her intimate understanding of her abilities provided a strong foundation to overcome any and all challenges she faced, including which she would refer to as those frustrating mid-range notes that Sondheim was so fond of for her role. In rehearsal, her focus was unparalleled. She sought every opportunity to take the mastery of her craft to the next level. Despite the giants and wolves, she has borne fearlessly against the tide and has consistently risen above. And now it's time to leave the woods. It is my pleasure to award the Nancy Hall Wright Boyer Drama Award to Kyra Paris. Our second recipient has made Cushing Theater her home over the last 2 years, appearing in every fall and spring play and winter musical since her arrival at the Academy. One might say that more than one of these roles has tended toward a flair for the dramatic, whether the neurotic and nostalgia arrested Amanda Wingfield of Tennessee Williams or the tormented Myra Brule in Ira Levin's Death Trap. Perhaps no one has received a more thorough education in the art of screaming and faking one's own death than she in the latter role. Her interest in the dramatic arts is unequivocal as she plans to extend her work at Cushing into her collegiate studies. It is fitting that her final role at Cushing Academy as Cinderella in this year's production of Into the Woods provided her with the opportunity to exercise the extent of her angelic vocal range and test the limits of her technical skill. Though the task set before her was difficult, she approached rehearsal with resolve and a determination to better her skill. The result of her efforts was a performance fit for a princess. We no longer can guide you. Now you're on your own. Memories beside you, still you're not alone. It is my pleasure to award the Nancy Hall Wright Boyer Drama Award to Margaret Riley. And now it is my distinct honor to welcome Ms. Julia Ohm, theater preceptress and chair of the Performing Arts, to present our final awards.
Thank you, Mr. Q. The Performing Arts Department Award is given to that student who has demonstrated ability, dedication, and service in the field of drama, and has been actively involved in more than one production, either in acting, production work, or both. This student began by taking an acting class early on in her Cushing career. She then proceeded to work on almost every production, in addition to her commitment to visual arts for the remainder of her tenure here at the Academy. Bob Johnson was as generous in sharing her time as she was in splitting it between the two art forms she loved equally. On most occasions, she could be found backstage, wrangling actors and making sure that the technical elements were running smoothly. Her entry into each production was always, "Whatever you need me to do, Miss Ohm." In the winter musical, I Needed a Fabulous Little Red, and we began together our journey of pushing her out of the shadows and into the light. My sense and sincere hope is that she will stay in the theater and in the light. The Performing Arts Department Award for Production Ability and Dedication is given to Meiran Zhu. The Lois J. Kahn Award is given for excellence in drama, period. No lengthy explanation or long drawn-out description, and the recipient fits this to a T. Quiet, unassuming, and loyal, I've rarely heard him comment randomly on anything. Choosing his words and speech carefully, he makes it a point to interject his opinion only when he feels very strongly about something. I've watched this young man grow from his early years in experimental theater, playing a monkey in his first theatrical production, to a talented, gifted, and loyal thespian who goes above and beyond what rehearsals require to get the job done. He can be found after hours carefully constructing a necessary prop, putting the finishing touches on a piece of scenery, or jumping into the cast and on stage if I need him. He has learned over the years that theater tolerates no excuses and accepts only those who are willing to put the art form first. In the midst of his attention to detail, his humor and subtle wit can always be found if you look carefully enough. The Lois J. Kahn Award for Excellence in Drama is given to Tong Wu. Congratulations to all of our award recipients. You exemplify standards of excellence in the art of performance. Please know that this is not goodbye, just farewell until we meet again in the environment that we are accustomed to. And as we bid you farewell, we also say goodbye to Mr. Quinones, who is leaving us at the end of this year. As a department, we have been blessed with his talent, his ability, and his genteel spirit since he arrived 3 years ago. He is simply irreplaceable. We extend to him our deepest thanks and love for the gifts he brought to us and to you over these past few years. Like all of you, we will never let him go. Thank you, Mr. Quinones, for your immeasurable gifts and endless joy for our students and the work we do. 2020 award recipients, it's a wrap.